Okay, hello everyone. My name is Shara Dossi, and I'm a certified integrative health and nutrition coach, an ISSA nutritionist, and personal trainer. And today I'm excited to talk to you about one of my very favorite topics, which is nutrition for moms in every stage, whether you're pregnant, postpartum, and overall just trying to maintain a healthy lifestyle while juggling motherhood. This is for you. So I know I did a speech a couple days ago at a fitness expo, and this was one of the topics that I covered. And it was also the most requested replay slash recording that I film and send out to people who weren't able to make it. So I am excited to tell it all again. All right. So I bet you are a mom in some kind of stage, or maybe you are currently expecting or postpartum, already a mom, or maybe you're not pregnant yet, but you're planning to become a mom. This is going to be super beneficial for you. I know you've probably spent, if you haven't yet, you're probably going to spend hours on Google or in Facebook mom groups trying to figure out what's best for you and your baby's health. And the more you read and see everyone's input and read all the articles online, it starts to get overwhelming. And so today's goal is to simplify it to the very basics, and it's going to help improve everyone's understanding of Nutrition 101 for health for moms. All right, so first let's dive into macronutrients and how each one specifically plays into our hormones, metabolism, and overall female health. Let's get on to the next slide. All right, our three macronutrients. Macronutrients are nutrients that we need in large amounts, that we need the most of, hence the word macro. And where there are three main macronutrients are fats, carbs, and proteins. For our fats, they are important for us women. Hormones are produced from fat and cholesterol. And as you know, us women, a lot runs on our hormones. It's kind of a big deal, or what our hormones are doing for women specifically. And fat is crucial for our hormone health. Fats contain fatty acids, which are the building blocks of hormones. Quality of fat matters. This isn't just regular fatty food. You want to get good quality fat. So opt for healthy fats such as avocado, olive oil, and full fat dairy. We've been led to believe here in the US in the past decade or two that any food with the label low fat is healthy, but I want to encourage you and that full fat options are actually the better choice, especially for women. Unless you have a very specific body composition goal to drop your BMI to a certain percentage, and this is if you are a bodybuilder and you're trying to see muscle definition for a bodybuilding show or anything, something like that, I would never recommend women to choose low fat options, even for weight loss. And a good way to just combat those extra calories from fats, if you're trying to lose weight and you're opting for full fat foods, is really just utilize the energy that you get from fats to move more. All right, next up are carbs. Carbs are your body's go-to energy source. They are your body's preferred source of fuel. So if you are a mom, when you're running after the little ones or growing a new life inside of you, this is super beneficial to have in your diet. A good balanced amount of carbs is what we want. We don't want too many. Um, Average American intake of carbs today is like 60% of calories from carbs. We want to balance that out to around 35%. All right, unless you are an athlete, everyone's needs are going to be different. The best sources are whole foods, of course. So think things like sweet potatoes, whole grains, fruits, rice, oatmeal as an example. If you tolerate those foods, those are a good source of carbs. If you're trying to reduce refined carb consumption, which these are your heavily processed carbs, which is something everybody benefits from doing, instead of thinking about cutting out carbs, which is a common lingo for those who are wanting to manage their weight. Instead of cutting out carbs, I want you to think about crowding out carbs or crowding out refined processed foods with healthier options such as lean proteins, healthy fats, lots of veggies. So that way you can still enjoy foods that you do like, carbs that you do enjoy, but instead of cutting it out, you're simply crowding out your plate. Remember that fiber and whole grains support digestion and provide steady energy, which is exactly what you need during pregnancy and beyond. Last macronutrient is protein. Protein is crucial for creating the very organs, muscles, nails, and hair that make up our bodies. It's also necessary for your cells nerves, and immune system to function at its best, and also important for supporting hormone balance and insulin response. All right. For all stages of motherhood, protein is going to be your best friend. Many women are not getting enough protein, especially during pregnancy and postpartum when your needs are higher. So, how do you know how much macronutrients? What is an adequate macronutrient intake for each stage? Let's see. Well, let's go to the next slide. No, I just have to click. All right, moving over. Okay, adequate nutrition for each stage. So, your macronutrient needs will vary depending on whether you're pregnant, postpartum, or just maintaining your overall health. Okay, and it's going to change from season to season. It's not going to stay the same the rest of your life. All right. The recommended dietary intake or dietary allowance, RDA, for protein requirements in late pregnancy is, or at least in pregnancy in the first trimester, is 46 grams for the first trimester and 71 grams for the second and third trimester. And this is grams per day, which this only accounts for about 10% of calories. Even if you weren't pregnant or postpartum or breastfeeding, at the very minimum, I always encourage my female clients, to get minimum 100 grams of protein per day. And so this 71 grams per day max for the third trimester is undercutting it by a lot. So the acceptable macronutrient distribution range, or AMDR, for calories from protein is 10 to 35%. So we want to be on that higher end of 35%, possibly more, if we're pregnant, postpartum, breastfeeding, high endurance athlete, etc. All right. So we want to get around 35% of our calories from protein. All right. Adequate protein intake is essential for a healthy pregnancy and a healthy fetal development, healthy development for babies. As baby forms, it is composed of protein, the building blocks of your body, collagen content of the uterus so that it can stretch to hold baby and keep baby safe. Collagen content of the uterus increases up to 800% as baby grows. Okay. Where does collagen come from? It comes from sources of protein. Hence why eating more protein is good for you. More is needed, especially during the postpartum and breastfeeding stage, as protein is needed for breast milk production. Usually when milk supply drops, a lot of moms think that it's because they're not eating enough carbs. And that's only part of the picture. It's more often than not, I've found milk supply drops because they're not eating enough protein. You need protein to make milk. If you don't have the building blocks, it will pull it from somewhere else. If your body cannot get what it needs from your diet, not eating enough protein in your diet, it will start to pull from other sources in your body, being you, and you're going to feel the health effects of that, of micronutrient, your vitamins and minerals that you have, your vitamin and mineral stores depleting because you're not getting enough from your diet. Same as your macronutrients. If it's not getting enough protein from your diet, it'll start pulling it from you, and you're going to feel really tired and miserable in your pregnancy and not feel good at all. And then you're going to feel even worse postpartum. So the whole goal is to set yourself up for success throughout the whole season, for the long run, even beyond breastfeeding, postpartum, well into motherhood. All right. Speaking of carbs, a lot of women, some women do well on low carb diets, but that's not true for everyone because carbs are a preferred source of energy. It is a source of glucose. That's what our body uses for energy. Okay. And especially not for women dealing with hormone imbalances, very low carb diets do actually more harm than good for us overall. All right. We want to have like a moderate carb diet unless your dietitian or nutritionist says so. Again, we would just want, all we really need to do is balance our plates. To have a moderate carb diet, especially if we are breastfeeding or we have an active lifestyle, we're going to need carbs, energy to refuel ourselves, to give our body energy to recover, and so on and so forth. All right. Carbs are essential. We don't want to be afraid of carbs, particularly in the postpartum breastfeeding phases when your energy demands are high. All right. Next, there's fats. How much fats do you need? A diet rich in monounsaturated fats, studies have shown, like the avocados, olive oil, full fat dairy, can actually lower the risk of infertility and support hormone health. Hence why I always tell my ladies, full fat is a healthier option for you. And actually, most Americans eat too little healthy fats and too much of the unhealthy fats and too many carbohydrates. So they're not getting enough of the good stuff. And really all that comes down to is just balancing your plate and opting to get your foods from whole food sources more often than not, and staying active and try not to be sedentary. All right. And of course, putting on muscle. But for some, it might help to crowd out excess carbs, especially excessive refined carbs, with more healthy fats. But it's all about balance, okay? And everyone's needs are different. But when you source your macronutrients from whole food sources, more often than not, then your micronutrients, vitamins, and minerals should fill in. So, how do you find out? How do you, plate your meals if you are too tired or you don't want to learn how to track your macros or track your calories? I know that we all scroll social media, so we definitely have time to track our macros and calories. But if that is too overwhelming to take on, especially if you are a brand new mom, then we just go down to the very simplified basics. But again, this is only the basics, all right? So let's go to building your plate. Use this very, very, very simple guide. Your fist, the very front of your hand right here, you could say that this is about half a cup, and you could use that to represent a serving of vegetables. Your cupped hand right here, this could be about a cup, and you could use that for your carbs. The surface area of your palm, use that for a serving of protein. The surface area, like a large surface area, okay? And then your thumb for healthy fats, avocados, butter, nuts, stuff like that. All right. A general guideline is 1 portion of each group per meal for women, and 2 portions per group for men. But remember that this is a very oversimplified formula. I wouldn't use this in the long run or take this for gospel, okay? It also varies, and it's based on for everybody's body size, activity level, your goals, genetics, and so forth. So it's going to be different. This is a very oversimplified approach if you just need something to start off of before you get into learning how to track and count your macros and calories and be intentional about food, okay? Many people are surprised to discover that dialing down your starchy carb intake and increasing healthy fats can help with weight loss, energy, hormone balance, all of that stuff. And at the same time, others find that a diet higher in carbs fuels their active lifestyle. So if they're also working out and breastfeeding and chasing after toddlers, you're going to need a little bit more carbs. So it's all about finding that balance. And sometimes it's hard to find that balance. So reach out to a nutrition coach to figure out what works for you if you need to. All right, tips for sustainable health. We want to make health a lifestyle, right? A beneficial habit that everyone can learn is meal planning or prepping. It doesn't have to be, be a pro at it within the first couple weeks. This can be something slow that you take on over a long period of months at a time, okay? But a quick few tips to remember when learning how to meal plan or meal prep is to start small. Don't overwhelm yourself by trying to plan for a whole month at once. Experiment with variety versus consistency, such as a new recipe every night, every breakfast, lunch, dinner, versus consistency where you maybe have planned for 3 days at a time, the same meal for each of those 3 days, and then the next 3 days is a new meal, okay? And prep ahead. Doing a little bit of work on the weekends can save you tons of time during the week. As a mom, you're in the kitchen 3 times a day, maybe even more, and we don't need to spend hours, 2 hours, 3 times a day in the kitchen cooking meals when you could spend 3 to 4 hours on the weekend doing a little bit of prep work or a lot of bit of prep work, but that saves you hours for the rest of the week. And you could be spending 30 minutes in the kitchen 3 times a day doing your meals because you spent 3 to 4 hours on the weekend prepping and being wise and intentional with your time. So a little bit of work can save you a lot of time. And remember that flexibility is crucial. All right. Life happens. So don't stress and freak out if you can't stick to your plan every single day. So I actually have a few different meal planning methods for you to try. Take notes because I don't have a slide for this, okay? Take notes. 1 is batch cooking, where you make large quantities and you freeze portions for later. These are good for freezer meals, or casseroles, let's see, soups, any dish like that where it's a one big, huge meal of things thrown together, like a casserole or a soup or something. These are really good for batch cooking. You make large quantities, freeze portions for later. This is great if you are end of your pregnancy and you want to prepare for postpartum. So you have some postpartum meals in the fridge that you can just heat up while you're taking care of your newborn. Less workload on you, or less workload on who is ever taking care of you, husband, family member, etc. All right. Another method is cook once, eat twice. So double your dinner portions and then eat the leftovers for lunch the next day. Super simple one. Next one is ingredient based. So you pick versatile ingredients and you mix and match throughout the week. So you shop at the grocery store for veggies and meats and carb options that you can just keep on hand. And then you just shuffle those things around at each mealtime throughout the week. So, and then there's theme nights, so you can keep it fun. So like Monday will be always chicken, rice, and broccoli. Taco Tuesday. Wednesday will be let's call it steak and potato Wednesday. Thursdays could be maybe fish day or a sheet pan meal day. We put sausage or something on a sheet pan, bake it with potatoes. And then Fridays could be pizza Fridays, and save Saturday and Sunday for a new recipe or a leftover day. All right. That way, you know ahead of time, like depending on what day of the week it is, what's for dinner or what's for lunch. Okay. And it also shortens your grocery list too. Because if you're just buying the same things week after week and you're not having to buy new ingredients for new recipes, it actually saves on your grocery budget. So it's another thing to try. And then another one is meal kit services like HelloFresh or Home Chef. If you have it in your availability, these can also be a lifesaver if you're strapped for time. Some areas, depending on where you're at, have meal prep people who do like meal prep cooking for you. So that can be something to look into as well. All right, but remember that even the best laid plans go off course. If that happens, don't guilt yourself. Don't guilt trip yourself. Okay, it's okay to indulge occasionally, and we need to be stress-free as much as we can if we're a mom. All right, no matter what stage of life we're in, we don't want to add more stress to ourselves, especially around things that are important for our health, such as our meals. All right, reevaluate your plan if it feels too restrictive or unappealing. You want food to be intentional and enjoyable, but not miserable. All right, seek support if you need it. That is what a nutrition coach, aka me, is for. Not a dietitian or a nutritionist where I prescribe things to cure your health ailments or something like that. I offer guidance, healthy recipes, and accountability, and brainstorm solutions to your obstacles to help you stay on track. That is what a coach is for. Then, if your kids are young enough and you want to start young anyway, you want to set up your kids with a good foundation, right? Don't forget about your little ones. Another thing that you should look into, and I could go more and more into this on a different video, is baby-led weaning. And baby-led weaning is an approach to introducing solid foods to your babies, like finger foods right from the start, rather than spoon feeding them purees. All right. And this is not, I cut off part of my hamburger that I made for dinner and give it to my kid, or I cut up a portion of lasagna and I set it on a plate and give it to them. No, it's a little bit different than that. It's whole foods and introducing foods to them strategically and letting them explore at their own pace so that babies can choose what and how much to eat. This helps them develop fine motor skills. So there's more benefits to that outside of just, health, and then hand-eye coordination and a healthy relationship with food, as well as an adventurous palate. Right? And this is going to involve the whole family. So babies can eat the same foods that you do. You just deconstruct your meal a little bit, break it down to the whole foods parts, and let baby explore and eat at their pace. It's a fun and engaging way to introduce solids to them and help them develop a positive relationship with food from the start. But that's a very brief breakdown. Highly recommend looking into that more if you have little babies at home, or if you're going to be a mom of littles soon. And remember to lead by example. When your kids see you making healthy choices, they're more likely to follow suit. If they see you being intentional and celebrating that you get to eat healthy food and are not stressing out about eating the occasional cake or hot dog or pizza or whatever, and recognizing that food is fuel, and then that they see you setting boundaries to make time for your health, that you are working out, that you are going on runs, that you are lifting weights, that you are setting boundaries to things that could be adding stress to your life, such as, I don't know, extra work hours or something, stressful family members, anything like that that's going to hinder your health and your ability to take care of yourself and your family. When your kids see you doing that, they will model that later on. They will recognize that. Kids are smarter than we think, okay? And remember that your health is always worth the investment. There's no such thing as like spending too much money on yourself when it's to take care of your health. Your health is always worth the investment. And play the long-term game. Keep the bigger picture in mind. Don't let small numbers on a scale define your goals, okay? Your goal should not be lose 60 pounds and have, I don't know, a 28-inch waist. That was just a random number. I don't know. Okay, your goal is not that. Your goal is that you can walk with your kids on a hiking trail and carry them back down because they get tired and you don't run out of breath. Your goal is that you can run around the park and play soccer with them and not tell them that you can't because you're overweight and tired. All right, the long-term game, the big picture goal is that you can sit on the floor and play cards with them or play house with them and not be in pain. All right. And you pick yourself up off the floor without struggling. That is the big picture goal, not the scale number, not the tape measure number. All right. I hope that was encouraging to you. All right. If you feel like you need more personalized guidance, I offer customized women's health coaching through my app, complete with healthy recipes. I also have meal prep guides to teach you how to meal prep, as well as nutrition guidance, finding out what your needs are for your specific stage of life, and workout programs as well. As I mentioned before, I'm a personal trainer as well. So whatever that might be, I am here as your coach to help you navigate that. I've coached women all over the US and many stages of life, from pregnancy, postpartum, into motherhood, and beyond. So if you guys have any more questions, don't hesitate to get in touch with me, okay? I am on Instagram at holistify.wellness. My website is holistifywellness.com. You can also find my email there as well and send me an email. But if you have any more questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. And if you need more one-on-one support, I am more than happy to work with you and help you navigate and thrive in motherhood, okay? All right, guys, thanks so much for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful day.